Okay, so this is another update on the World War III report. So I think the thing to talk about today is some background, because we need to know where we came from to know where we're going. So there, of course, this is when I say World War III, I mean, there was a World War I and World War II, obviously. So we need to understand those two wars, kind of get the concepts about those two wars before we understand what we're in the middle of right now. So World War I and World War II. World War I came about because of a gap between the economic power in the world and the political structure, the security structure. World War II, same problem. So World War III, of course, is going to be the same issue, a gap between the economic power and the political or military power. So in World War I, the problem was the rise of Germany. Britain was not declining, it was at least stagnant, and Germany was rising very quickly. The United States was also rising very quickly, but neither Germany nor the United States were involved in the security structure with Britain. So Britain, seeing that it was under threat, that it was going to lose its military and political power in the world, fought Germany and got allies together and fought Germany. I know everyone blames Germany for the war, but it takes two to tango. So that wasn't resolved because the United States did not join the security structure after World War I. And of course, World War II occurred, same issue. Britain felt under threat. It gave guarantees to Poland, but critically, the United States did not back up those guarantees. It wasn't involved in the guarantees to Poland. Germany took a chance and started World War II and eventually lost, of course. So after the war, a new security structure was set up with the United Nations. First World War created League of Nations, which was, of course, imperfect because the United States wasn't involved and Russia wasn't involved. Two of the major powers in the world were involved. So after World War II, they created the UN. Which represents the victorious powers of World War II. Germany's not in it. Brazil's not in it. Egypt, India, all these countries are not in it. What's happened since World War II, which again, the way to think of this is like, imagine it's like an earthquake. You get these tensions that build up, and finally they explode into a war. So the tensions that built up prior to World War I led to World War I. Tensions that built up between World War I and World War II. I mean, the tensions were there. There wasn't much time between the two of them. But since World War II, similar step tensions in the economic sphere, a gap between the economic sphere and the political sphere have built up. And that's what we're going through right now. We're going through an earthquake where the gap between the economic power and the political power is creating a crisis. So that's why we're in World War III. So that's basically the ideas behind World War I, World War II, World War III. So World War I created the League of Nations. World War II created the UN. And World War III is going to have to create a new security structure, something that involves all of the countries in the world that have economic power. So we're going to have India will be involved, Brazil, an African nation, Nigeria, maybe South Africa. Maybe Egypt, Russia, of course, will be involved. Japan, which is also a major economic power, should be involved. And if all of these countries were involved in some economic and political security structure, and they could resolve the differences, then you wouldn't have a war. But unfortunately now we're having a war because the gap between the most powerful, politically powerful nations in the world, the United States and the UK, and the most economically powerful countries in the world, which don't have a seat in the United Nations or are unable to assert their political power, is causing this crisis. So more about that next, kind of the setup of who the major players are now, what they want, and how this is probably going to be resolved. Thank you.